The first half of 2015 hasn't gone according to plan for the country's finance minister, who's been forced to downgrade some of his key projections to cater for the slowdown in the economy. Well, here's a quick look at the half-year report card for Zimbabwe's economy. GDP growth, initially projected to be 3.2%, is now down to just 1.5%. Revenue projections are now $3.6 billion, down from $3.9 billion. The budget deficit will be $400 million. Agriculture has been affected by poor rainfall and is expected to shrink by 8.2%. The mining sector is set to grow by 3.5% on the back of increased production, and tourism is set to grow 5%. To get things going again, Patrick Chiramasa is trying to rein in expenditure, which has threatened to bleed the national fiscus dry. In order to avert further deindustrialization and bridge the trade deficit, duties on foodstuffs and motor vehicles have been increased. Zimbabwe's import bill from January to June this year is already $3.1 billion against exports of just $1.2 billion. The unsustainable expenditure on civil servant wages, currently at 80% of national budget, is set to be slashed in half.
We cannot meaningfully deliver development to our people with the current budget structure. It is therefore imperative that we immediately implement measures to reduce the wage bill to sustainable levels comparable to those of regional member states. We need to make the sacrifices if we are to realize the objectives of ZimAsset.
ZimAsset is the country's economic blueprint meant to see rehabilitation of infrastructure. A new equity-based model for financing those capital projects instead of loan funding will be adopted to reduce the country's debt burden. Zimbabwe owes local and international creditors more than $8 billion. Analysts I spoke to in the wake of the midterm review think the authorities could be chasing shadows.
If we are going to increase the capacity of this economy to produce, we have to put money into that economy. We need serious investment to improve the output of that economy. Therefore, what Chiramasa should be worried about is getting the environment suitable and attractive for investment. As long as we're not creating jobs, it means that the cake that Chiramasa must draw from is getting smaller and smaller.
The monetary boss is clear about what will generate those jobs.
The clarion call for all of us here and outside should be production, production, and more production. There is no other way. There are no shortcuts either.
Acknowledgement that the road back to prosperity will be a long one. Farai Mwakutuya, CCTV, Harare, Zimbabwe.